Matthew 16:2, Jesus' words, "When it is evening, you shall say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering." And he went on to talk about not being able to read the signs of the times. But my point is that we've been looking at the weather since ancient times. And the old phrase, red sky at night, sailor's delight, red sky in the morning, sailor's warning, was true of the ancients too. Welcome to Foul Play. This is Dan. Perhaps we'll make a... There's Jazz, by the way. Jazzy May. We have a new member of the family we'll introduce you to. The ducks are still scolding me because I'm out here in my shorts. Not started chores yet, but I will very shortly. There's been so much going on, as always. But perhaps we'll make a real video today. So stay with us. Talk to you soon. This is our power pole that goes out to the transformer across the street. A few weeks ago, we had horrible north wind. It was raining, and long story short, the neutral line on the power pole was severed. Thankfully, Evergy came out and did repair that at 4:30 a.m. and it caused multiple electrical damage all over the farm, garage, multiple light systems, ceiling fan was on fire upstairs, multiple things that I've had to work on and repair since that time. Also, just gonna briefly, as I walk towards some of our, I just broke up a big cat fight a few moments ago. And there's Mina, and the ducks are still scolding me. I'm still a little bit slow getting out. It's 44 degrees. It's pretty chilly. The wind isn't blasting. There's Woody. There's Mina. There's our Mina girl. Motel 6.5. I'll leave the light off for you. These are some of the babies that we got in August. We got a bunch of little babies from the hatchery. I'm going to turn off the electric fence right here so I don't touch it over there, and so the little ones don't touch it. And these little babies are kind of young adults. They're not laying eggs yet. Now the bunch that's in the 6.5 were slotted to go to our beautiful neighbors. Unfortunately, they have to move. And so we went ahead and just kept these here kind of separate from the main flock, because eventually we think we're gonna let them continue to go on to a neighbor's house. And at the same time, you might remember that we hatched at the time the chicks arrived. We also hatched the 2 guinea birds, and they're doing really well too. And I'll show you them in a minute. All right, ducks. Release the ducking. Guinea birds have been really diligent about going into the duck house at night. Still George and Gracie. And we still have little Limpy Duck there. I did surgery on her foot, and she recovered to that degree. And I'm really pleased about that, because she couldn't walk at all when I got to her. She had a really bad bumblefoot infection, and the fact that she can move that well at this point, I worked so many weeks to rehab her, and she turned around pretty well. George and Gracie, still with us. We're gonna let the birds out, and I'll introduce you to a boy named Sue. Yeah, no joke. Oh, that's a bummer. The water's clean, but the top of it isn't. So this is the south run. We have the north run and the south run. And because we have so many birds, the runs are now living spaces. So there's the north run in there, and I'll get to that here in just a little bit, introduce you to a boy named Sue. want to show you Punky Rooster. A play off of Punky Brewster. Never really watched that TV program, so I can't really claim too much about it. But this guy, he's a nervous little thing. But he is the one of them that Winnie Cooper hatched back in July. And I can't, he has a little tuft on the top of his head that looks like a little punk rocker. Kind of see it right there. There it is. So he went from Punky Brewster to, yeah, Punky Rooster. And again, he's one that hatched from within the flock. So he's his little barnyard mix. So I'm inside the north run right now. I've got, it's kind of like a spaceship airlock. I've got the main door closed, about to open the inside door and let our little ones out. This is the same group of chicks that arrived in August too, along with the ones that are out in the Motel 6. So this bunch is the same group that arrived in February. We'll get to the February babies in a minute. Arrived in August. Now we have the 2 guinea birds that hatched, and you can see those 2 right. I'm going through the door right now before I let them out. We think male and female. So springboarding off of George and Gracie, we're going to name these 2 Ozzy and Harriet. And they look a little awkward right now, but they are roughly the same size as all the chicks. And we have left them with the chicken chicks. And then there is a boy named Sue right there. So this little one is super friendly. Of course, we thought it was she, but it's not she. We named her Susan. And it turned out to be, I'm just going to grab him up. Let me back focus here. And there he is, a boy named Sue. He's an Americana, beautiful guy. Okay, let's let these guys out now. Now that I've got the majority of the coop cleaned out, this group can come out now. Come on, kids. Just some beautiful girls that we have here. And this guy right here. Just a beautiful guy. Look at that tail. An Americana. He will not be laying a green or blue egg. But he's just been super friendly. And we just love this guy. And we've had a plethora of friendly roosters lately. Okay, buddy. I know. You're ready to get down. There he is. And that tail is just gorgeous. Okay, kids, come on out. So I already have the north run. I had to cover it up with some cardboard because some of the birds jump over the gap in the door. I've already buttoned up the north run tight. And I have a water warmer in this north run stall. And I went ahead and added a couple of extra lights out here to add light, especially when they have to stay in due to bad weather. So instead of taking the tarps up and down, I've went ahead and just buttoned it up for the winter, and that'll save me some work when it does get really, really bad. I have everything we need out here. We've got feed, we've got poop bucket and water, and especially if I have to come out here and the weather's bad and everybody has to stay in, have everything we need right here in the confined space to be able to clean up the joint. Yeah. You know, lifestyles of the rich and famous. That's us. So in addition to the birds that we had in August, lots of them, we had birds that arrived in February. And there are young adults now. And there's a good example of one right here. There is Elsa. Hi, Elsa. She is like our new Clementine. She's super sweet. Knows her name. Comes when we call her. She really is a doll. She is a Delaware, which we've never had a friendly Delaware like this before. And there's Woody Kitty. Woody, buddy. So that's Elsa, and quickly has become one of our besties. So finally, I want to discuss, and I'm only going to do it briefly. I'm not going to go into details. September 11th, Dateline. Of course, we all have this significance of that day if you're American and you remember that time. Kids, I had a heart attack on September 11th. If it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody. I'm not sedentary. We're very active. Just rode our bicycles across Kansas in June. And again, it's a long story. I went to the local hospital. They sent me to Tulsa, and I ended up having a cardiac stent placed. And I started on additional blood thinners, which I'm already on from April when I had some incidental blood clots in my left leg. And so I was started on blood thinners for that. Mom, who lives in the modular, Chris's mom, Mrs. Fowl mom, lives in the modular here, and back in May she had a triple bypass surgery, and about 2.5 weeks after I had a heart attack, Mom also had one, and she was transferred to Wichita for a good number of days. And her cardiac status right now is I'll just say it's stable, but guarded, okay? And I'm not going to go into too much on Mom's medical history and things like that, because I don't want to, but just, you can see some of the challenges we've had. If it can happen to me, it can happen to you. And if you are ever having chest pain, if you are having symptoms that you don't know for sure, please get help. Because just like all good nurses and just so many people in general, I denied the symptoms that I was having because I just thought it was some of the same symptoms that I had when I had cytomegalovirus starting back in June. And it turned out it wasn't cytomegalovirus symptoms, it was angina type symptoms. So last week, 2 weeks ago, I had to go to the hospital for an unresolved nosebleed. I had to have my nose packed. Throw in, I've had nosebleeds since my earliest childhood memories. Dad did too. My brother and our sons struggle with nosebleeds, always have. But you throw in blood thinners, and then that risk has increased. So I had a pack in my nose for about 4 days. Lots of bummers. But at the same time, post heart attack, I've come back to the farm. I've gotten with it, and it really lends me to my next point is like, I do everything to completion now. And winterizing the farm, getting firewood stacked, getting things done, everything to completion. Because quite frankly, if something, I'm sorry about the roosters, guys. Something happens to me, then things need to be in place and done as best of my ability for Mrs. Fowl sake. And if things change for Mom's sake and we have to be gone, then things are done as good, as cleanly, and as thoroughly as possible. So that's a little bit of, gives you an idea of what we've been struggling with for the last few months. Tell the story how we came to get this guy.
Well, our neighbor called and said that she could hear a little kitty crying by her mailbox, and it was dark out, and we both were out there looking with a flashlight, and we could see him, but he kept hiding, but he kept crying too. He wants to get down now. And the next day she was able to catch him, and so she brought him over to her house, and he was the sweetest, little loveliest little kitten I think I've ever met. And we named him Queso because he's a cheesy color. And he's a sweet little man. And he's learning to get along with our other cats, and our other cats are learning to get along with him, but it's been a slow process, but it's only been a week, so I think we're doing all right.
And
He
he's
has a loud cat motor.
He's already been to the doctor. He's
been
not
to the
chipped.
doctor. Yeah, he didn't have a chip.
I'm
We
afraid
think that
maybe,
He'd
yeah.
been dumped out there someplace by somebody. He'd been dumped out there by somebody because he was just crying. He was well fed when we found him, but he was just crying and scared. And then he's been so happy ever since he's been in the house. Except now he wants down. Now
How
he's
old
gonna
do you
fight me.
suppose he is?
He's about 4 months old, probably. That's what the vet thought too.
Yeah.
Vet thought he was probably about 4 months old too. So we're gonna get him neutered next month when he's big enough. And we're just trying to teach him he's a part of our farm now.
Yep. We've already fallen in love with this little guy.